The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
So on Monday, we talked about the TSA hypocrisy that's going on, Lewis, with a lot of conservatives angry that Barack Obama might have personally not only allowed for, but wanted the new body scanners that we're seeing at some airports, including our local airport in Hartford. And WorldNet Daily ran a story which we talked about, Lewis, that suggested Obama personally is the guy who wanted those, and Obama personally wanted these aggressive, what are they called, Patdowns now, that you can opt out for.
Right.
And the obvious question is, well, even if you believe that he did, it's Michael Chertoff who, as the head of Homeland Security, actually ordered the first batch of these. Some people are calling them the porno scanners because pictures showing essentially everything are not only being saved, which we were told the pictures aren't saved, they're floating around the internet. And you know, it's amazing, not that I tried this, obviously, Lewis, I would never think to, but I've been told if you use a negative effect in like Photoshop or GIMP or whatever software you use, it will turn it into a positive, and you can really see everything. And I know Lewis is taking careful notes because this is the first thing he'll do after the show.
Yeah, right.
That's not how it was intended to be used, is it?
No.
Or maybe it was. I don't know. In any event, Michael Chertoff, as the head of Homeland Security, ordered the first batch of these from a company called Rapiscan Systems. After he left his position at the Homeland Security Department, he gave a ton of interviews where he was using his government credentials to promote the device. You know what's coming here. What he didn't tell people is that Rapiscan is one of his consulting clients from the Chertoff group. So nobody's going to be surprised by that, are they? First of all, that we're completely aware of. The hypocrisy comes in that it was the conservatives who, after 9/11, said, "Hey, we need the Patriot Act, and I don't care what we need to do to keep everybody safe. And we need to do it now. And by the way, we also need private industry to help." And this is an example of that, right? These body scanners are an example of doing whatever is necessary through private industry. Rapiscan Tech Systems, a client of the Chertoff Group, to keep people safe. But wait a second. Barack Obama might have wanted the scans. Barack Obama might have wanted aggressive groin touching during the pat-downs.
Or maybe Obama did want them, but he didn't want them so he could look at people's junk. He did. He might have wanted them so because
to keep people safe.
To keep people safe.
Right. So now the buzz is we're implying Barack Obama is somehow a pervert. You know, the real question is, there's a lot of questions here, and the number of concerns are countless. I mean, one concern is we're not even checking for chemicals. When we use the body scan, we're not checking for possible explosives. It actually makes it easier to get through security with residues or possible different types of explosives that the body scan will not actually pick up. That is one concern. Another concern is the latitude that is being allowed in some of these pat-downs. And some are saying, hey, let's blame Obama for that too. Or let's blame Democrats for that. But let's be honest with ourselves here. What is the origin of wanting these pat-downs? The origin is coercing people into just accepting the body scan, right? If you make the pat-down as least pleasurable, maybe that's not the right word to use, but at least enjoyable, I don't even know. If you make it an invasive procedure,
uncomfortable experience,
right, you're going to make people more likely to say, you know what, I'll just get the body scan, which, by the way, is an X-ray. People who are undergoing treatment for melanoma, for example, should not be going through that body scan. So we are putting some people who are already being treated for diseases in the hands, in apparently the very aggressive hands.
Well, X-rays are harmful to anyone and everyone.
Right, but there are certain groups particularly who should not be going through them, which we know. So now this is going to go open up a lot of different doors. The pat-downs are coercion to get people to go with the X-rays. Now here's another question. Aren't parents supposed to teach their kids that there's only two people that can touch you down there? You and your doctor.
And a TSA agent.
Well, that's where I'm going. You and your doctor when mommy or daddy are there. But now we have to explain, well, hold on a second. Because we're not going to do the body scan, we're actually the TSA man, which now the TSA, we've already got enough problems with TSA agents on the phone, on cell phones while people are walking the wrong way through security. touching people who knows where. Now the TSA man, he can also touch you down there.
Well, I don't think kids are going to be scarred for life if a TSA agent pats them down.
I disagree. These aggressive pat-downs could be very confusing, Lewis, very disconcerting. I mean, a lot of your tendency to the violent video games may be from an aggressive pat-down you received when you were flying home from Florida at age 4.
I doubt that.
And this just goes on and on. So do not be confused about the fact that there is significant hypocrisy here. At any cost, safety is the number one concern. Conservatives, from the days of the Patriot Act, are now all of a sudden very concerned that Barack Obama is personally perverted because of these body scans. But Michael Chertoff, really, we should call these Chertoff scanners, is the guy who is going to make, I believe he's already very wealthy, make himself even wealthier with the porno scanner. Is he not?
He might. But, I mean, generally, I think it's still about safety. I don't think we should be talking about his income, really. I mean, these are going to make flying safer, are they not?
No, I don't know that they will, because like I said, these are being used in lieu of other types of scanning. So, for example, this is not checking for chemicals. You can put explosives, you can put them in your body. It's going to
cost to get scanners or any type of thing that checks
what I'm
for
saying,
chemicals?
Lewis, is that at many airports, they are using this instead of swabbing the inside of your shoes or your hands, which I have done before, and then running that through the chemical testing machine. The body scanner is being used as a quick alternative to other tests that could be done. This, by the way, is a completely separate issue from the fact that, hold on a second, what about focusing on the agents instead of on technology? What about going the El Al route, Lewis, which you are all too familiar with, that is used in Israel for all airlines and also by El Al in other parts of the country when people are flying on their airline, which is, let's look the person in the eye. Who do you know in Israel? Where are you staying? Observing people and using more of a behavior profile than just relying on the porno scanner and then floating negatives of people's privates around the internet.
Right.
What about putting some money there?
I mean, what they do is similar to what someone at the border, the Canadian border, would be doing. But think about how long it would take if we had agents having a short discussion with every person who passes through security.
But you can do it in layers, as is done in Tel Aviv. I mean, there is one kind of staging that is a couple miles outside of the airport or whatever, a half mile, and then there's another when you actually are parking. You can stagger it. I mean, come on, Lewis.
So look, the traffic coming in and out of Ben Gurion is nothing compared to, say, the traffic coming in and out of JFK.
Is that a reason?
Or Dulles or
International.
International.
But I thought the concern was safety above all else.
It's safety, but you also have to be somewhat practical.
Okay, well, let me tell you, this scan is not enhancing our safety, and for a number of reasons on the whole. And it also is
irradiating us.
That's for sure. Alternate had an article, and if we have to move on, let me know. I'll go through these. There's 7 creepiest things about the porno scanners. Number 1, the scanner operators can see everything, including pads and tampons. Number 2, naked passenger images are easily saved and spread on the internet, and not only is that possible, it's happened. I pulled some up earlier today, and they were compelling, I have to tell you. Number 3, they could give you cancer. Number 4, if you refuse to go through one, you could be publicly groped, as we know. You could wind up with a hefty fine for refusing to be scanned. The TSA has opened an investigation targeting John Tyner, who refused to be scanned and was subjected to a so-called enhanced pat-down. When he told the TSA agent not to, quote, touch his junk, he was kept from getting on his flight and now faces prosecution and an $11,000 fine. 6, they are fueling homophobia in brand new ways. Our friends over at Americans for Truth About Homosexuality, we hope to have Peter LaBarbera back on soon, is saying that we need to make sure that there aren't gay TSA agents allowed to use these scans. I mentioned that one in jest, but the reality is it is fueling additional homophobia, and some are saying it's a waste of money. The House voted down the use of body scanners, but the TSA ignored the will of Congress and bought them anyway, wasting millions in stimulus funds. Number of reasons, Lewis, why this is concerning. And my last note, what happened to the Fourth Amendment and the constitutional conservatives? Here's the text of the Fourth Amendment, Lewis. The right of the people to be secure in their persons. What does that mean? Your body. And this, to me, is not evidence that anybody is secure in their person. If there is so much concern about how am I going to be touched by the TSA? which again is just coercion to go through the body scanner.
But that could have been a concern of anyone since the security changes after 9/11.
No, certainly.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the same people who now are expressing outrage about Obama's perversion are the ones who are saying, hey, at any cost, we need security. So certainly hypocrisy there.
The David Pakman Show is made possible by listeners like you and by Greenfield Savings Bank, building a strong community one account at a time, with neighborhood offices in Greenfield, Amherst, Conway, Shelburne Falls, South Deerfield, and Turners Falls, and online at greenfieldsavings.com. By the Daily Hampshire Gazette and gazettenet.com, connecting our communities with local news and information. By DIF Design, specializing in custom business websites at difdesign.com. Find out more about underwriting The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.